Hello, hello. Guess what time it is? It's the Dirty Jesus hour. How are you? I am going to play you a delicious little piece from the artist Clap exclamation mark Clap exclamation mark. The song is entitled "The Holy Cave," and I'll see you in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? Okay, so what we're gonna do first, I have this thing called mimesis, like meme and esis that I want to do. And I'm gonna try to do it as a little package, produce a segment. So just give me a couple of minutes to do that, and then I swear the phone lines are open. Is it really relevant that you guys don't need to see what my Twitter thing is, do you? No, that's stupid. Sorry, just 1 second, everybody. DJ, da-da. And then we can move that over a little bit into the middle. Awesome. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to start by showing this video called No Pomegranates. It's a meme. It's very popular. And here it goes.
Stand the rule.
And so that's how that goes. So no context. It seems to be a classroom. Whatever. Okay, so here's what I wrote tonight. Or here's what I learned. Pomegranate comes from the medieval Latin for pomum, granatum, pomum, apple, granatum, of many seeds. Literally, it means apple with many seeds. But interestingly, in classical Latin, closer to the time of the Bible, which is obviously relevant for me, Dirty Jesus, if I didn't introduce myself, was malum granatum. And mal, for me, portends to the things that are bad. So how did classical to medieval Latin, how did the word pomum change? You know, that's another question for another day. It is also surmised that the apple from the garden was actually a pomegranate from the garden of evil and good and whatever in Genesis. And it is mentioned oft in the Bible, including Numbers 25, like chapter 20, verse 5. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to bring us to this wretched place? It is no place for grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink. So pomegranates are a good thing because they are from where they were kicked out of, right? Heaven is described in Deuteronomy 8:8 as, quote, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey. And it is considered a judgment of God in the later Hebrew prophecy Joel. And, not right now, but I can read the longer bit from Joel later because it's pretty good. Basically, what I'm preaching is that this teacher is an atheist. A pomegranate is a very, very, very religio-spiritual material. And it's also even more relevant because it was the forbidden fruit that was eaten. So it's our fucking sinner's right to consume that fruit whenever we choose or want to. So may I propose to these students that you guys maybe take a knee the next time in protest she's teaching? Because that's the rage, right? I don't know, guys. It seems like this is something worth fighting for. So say it with me, far and wide, across the internet, do not let our spirits be crushed. The forbidden fruit is ours to eat. Yes, pomegranate. And then you say it, call and response. I heard you. Yes, pomegranate. Yes, pomegranate. God damn it. All right. Oh, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Dirty Jesus. See ya. Okay, so that is how that would go. For example, that was all right. So, gonna shift gears a little bit here, and we're gonna read from the Code of Hammurabi. I haven't read it, but I'm really excited to sort of explore it with you guys together. It's long, so I printed 10 pages, so that's all I'm going to read. There are a lot of gods in it who we don't know, whose names have never come before my eyes, I didn't go looking for them either, but they didn't come. So, I find that fascinating. Think about all the gods that people believed in that we no longer even know about. And we have this odd conception of this impermeability and unchangeability of permanence of the God as we know it, because he demanded it in the Bible early on to the Jewish people to help them cement their way of thinking so that they could survive together in rough conditions. That type of God, which may not really be that relevant any longer, is just one in a line of gods. And that is, I'm not an atheist. I think all of these gods are awesome, and at certain times were very, very fucking real to certain people. So that's good. That's how I think. Anyways, okay, I'm just gonna you can call at any time. 1-866-10-666-3 is of course the number. We can talk about pomegranates or whatever you guys want. let's see how that looks. Oh my god. Okay. That works for me. So 1-866-610-6663. Please feel free to call in. If you can refrain from using, the expletives that are generally considered mean to any one person or group of people, that would be appreciated. But I also admit that this is a safe space. So this is a space where if you need to exhaust a word that is hateful, I mean, you could do it once, but if you do it a couple times, I don't need to hear it any more than once, nor do any of my audience. So that would be my request. But if you need to exhaust it, I do understand, but then we're gonna have to discuss it as a word. So, okay, so for the internet, for the robots of the future, this is the code of Hammurabi. And you might want to data interpret this in the future because it might be important. It's important enough that I'm data interpreting it now for the internet. When Anu the Sublime, king of the Anunnaki, and Bel, the lord of heaven and earth, who decreed the fate of the land, assigned to Marduk, the overruling son of Ea, god of righteousness, dominion over earthly man, and made him great among the Igigi. They called Babylon by his illustrious name, made it great on earth, and founded an everlasting kingdom in it, whose foundations are laid so solidly as those of heaven and earth. Then Anu and Bel called by name me, Hammurabi, the exalted prince, who feared God, to bring about the rule of righteousness in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evildoers, so that the strong should not harm the weak, so that I should rule over the black-hearted people of Shamash and enlighten the land to further the well-being of man. I think that is a way better, just that last part is like a way better thing to say than the oath of office. It's awesome. Yeah, we need like an oath of office that is global. Fuck these nations, guys. What are we doing with these nations? How are we going to stop this nation-state system from killing us? That's a question I have. 1-866-10-6663. Feel free. To call me. Hammurabi, the prince, called of Bel am I, making riches and increase, enriching Nippur and Dur-Ilu beyond compare, sublime patron of Ekur, who re-established Eridu and purified the worship of Iapsu, who conquered the 4 quarters of the world, made great the name of Babylon, rejoiced the heart of Marduk, his lord who daily pays his devotions in Sagil, the royal scion whose sin made, who enriched the humble, the reverent, who brings wealth to Gishir-Gal, the white king, herd of Shamash, the mighty, who again laid the foundations of Sippara, who clothed the gravestones of Malkat with green, who made E-Babar great, which is like the heavens, the warrior who guarded Larsa and renewed E-Babar. These are all god names, the ones that sound really weird, by the way. With Shamash as his helper, the Lord who granted new life to Uruk, who brought plenteous water to its inhabitants, raised the head of Eanna, and perfected the beauty of Anu and Nana, shield of the land, who reunited the scattered inhabitants of Isen, who richly endowed E-Galmok, the protecting king of the city, brother of the god Zamama, who firmly founded the farms of Kish, crowned E-Me-T-Ursag with glory, redoubled the great holy treasures of Nana, managed the temple of Harseg-Kalama, the grave of the enemy, whose help brought about the victory, who increased the power of Katha, made all glorious in E-Shidlem, the black steer who gored the enemy, beloved of the god Nebo, who rejoiced the inhabitants of Borsippa, the sublime, who is indefatigable for Izida, the divine king of the city, the white, wise, who broadened the fields of Dilbat, who heaped up the harvest for Urash, the mighty, The Lord to whom come scepter and crown, with which he clothed himself, the elect of Mama, who fixed the temples bound of Kesh, who made rich the holy feasts of Nintu, the provident, solicitous, who provided food and drink for Lagash and Girsu, who provided large sacrificial offerings for the temple of Ningnirsu, who captured the enemy, the elect of the oracle, who fulfilled the predictions of Halab, who rejoiced the heart of Anunit, the pure prince, whose prayer is accepted by Adad, who satisfied the heart of Adad, the warrior. Fuck off. Okay, we're halfway through this paragraph. Sorry, guys. I think it's all like, he's just validating what he's about to say. So I think it's like a lineage, but there's lots of these little sentence fragments that don't make sense. But bear in mind, this was like on a large pillar, and it was written, and it was held and kept in town. Like that was that, and you can look on the internet. The images that look over it, it shows him as two people, sort of thinking and connecting with the god, and then also his way that he was active in his own human earth as well. Like the image apparently showed his intense responsibility to the gods, but like, whatever, this is all hearsay. Let's finish. In Karkar, who restored the vessels for worship in Ud Galgal, the king who granted life to the city of Adab, the guide of Emok, the princely king of the city, the irresistible warrior who granted life to the inhabitants of Mashkan Shabri, and brought abundance to the temple of Shidlam, the white, potent, who penetrated the secret caves of the bandits, saved the inhabitants of Malka from misfortune, and fixed their home fast in wealth, who established pure sacrificial gifts for Ea and Damgalnunna, who made his kingdom everlastingly great, the princely king of the city, who subjected the districts on the Udkibnunna canal to the sway of Dagon, his creator, who spared the inhabitants of Mira and Tutul, the sublime prince, who makes the face of Nini shine, who presents holy meals to the divinity of Ninazu, who cared for its inhabitants in their need, provided a portion for them in Babylon in peace, the shepherd of the oppressed and of the slaves, whose deeds find favor before Anunit, who provided for Anunit in the temple of Damash in the suburb of Agadi, who recognizes the right, who rules by law, who gave back to the city of Asher its protecting God, who let the name of Ishtar of Nineveh remain in Emishmish. I did, damn it. The sublime, who humbles himself before the great God, successor of Samula El, the mighty son of Sin Mumblet. I'll mumble it all right. The royal scion of eternity, the mighty monarch, the son of Babylon, whose rays shed light over the land of Sumer and Akkad, the king, obeyed by the four quarters of the world, beloved of Nini, am I. When Marduk sent me to rule over men, to give the protection of right to the land, I did right and righteousness in... ... they lost the part, and brought about the well-being of the oppressed. And then the codex. Codex, I guess, just meaning... What does codex mean? List, maybe? Who knows? So eternity is capitalized in this, which is interesting. I wonder if eternity is a god from this time. Like, a lot of the other words were just, like, absolutely ridiculous. Sin Mumblet is, you know... Is it ironic? No. Is it a coincidence? Yes, I think it's a coincidence. But it's good sometimes to ask oneself, is what I am experiencing ironic or a coincidence? Does anyone ever do that? 1-866-610-6663. These laws... These laws are going to come with commentary, by the way. If anyone ensnare another, putting a ban upon him, but he cannot prove it, then he that ensnared him shall be put to death. What? If anyone ensnare another, so who the hell knows what ensnare, like, physically ensnare or just like trap someone, like putting a ban upon him. I think they mean like that. like arrested. Whoa, possibly. If anyone ensnare another, putting a ban upon him, but he cannot prove it, then he that ensnared him shall be put to death. Okay, so this is problematic, but I'm sure it's the translation. Like, who is the one who needs to prove it? He that ensnared him. Don't you think it's relevant to be able to prove something? And what does ensnare mean? I think, like, do I have any Assyrian? Maybe that's the language. Do we have any specialists, any language specialists currently or whenever watching the show? You can certainly call in and let me know. Just call the hotline anytime, anytime. Because I do not understand this one. This is a case where the punishment doesn't seem to fit the crime. But the reason why I wanted to start reading this was because I thought I'm thinking more and more that an eye for an eye really suits the crime and should just completely replace our oddly punitive and extensive legal system. So it's funny that the first law I like completely disagree with, or like just don't understand because I don't know what ensnare or ban mean. 2, if anyone bring an accusation against a man and the accused go to the river and leap into the river. Hang on. Go to the river and leap into the river. If he sink in the river, his accuser shall take possession of his house. But if the river prove that the accused is not guilty and he escape unhurt, then he who had brought the accusation shall be put to death. Well, he who leaped into the river shall take possession of the house that had belonged to his accuser. What is up with this river? Okay. Fine. You know, let the river decide, right? 3, if anyone bring an accusation of any crimes before the elders and does not prove what he has charged, he shall, if it be a capital offense charged, be put to death. Okay, so the first proof didn't make sense, but this proof is excellent. No false accusations, no lying. Obviously, we're in like a heap of trouble because we no longer know what is a lie and what is a truth in this day and earth and world. But right now, I'm picking up a scent that it is fundamental to how Hammurabi and the people of his village thought. 4, and all their gods thought. They had a lot of gods. It sounds like these are pretty fucking reasonable gods to me that they had at that time. 4, if he satisfy the elders to impose a fine of grain or money, he shall receive the fine that the action produces. Cool. 5, if a judge try a case, reach a decision, and present his judgment in writing, if later error shall appear in his decision, and it be through his own fault, then he shall pay 12 times the fine set by him in the case, and he shall be publicly removed from the judge's bench, and never again shall he sit there to render judgment. Whoa, that sounds like a pretty good way to treat judges, doesn't it? What the fuck is that noise? Hang on, sorry. Damn it, you're scaring me. Fucking judges. Like, that's it. You get one shot. This is your one chance. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime or whatever. Maybe I should do a Trump rap, or I'll do an Eminem rap, like a response to Eminem. If I did a rap battle, would you guys watch that? I'm all about becoming an influencer now, by the way. If you haven't noticed, I've really stepped my game up here. 6, if anyone steal the property of a temple or of the court, he shall be put to death. And also, the one who receives the stolen thing from him shall be put to death. The thing who receives. Whoa. So, stay out of the pawn shops of this vintage. 7, if anyone buy from the son or the slave of another man, without witnesses or a contract, silver or gold, a male or female slave, an ox or a sheep, an ass or anything, or if he take it in charge, he is considered a thief and shall be put to death. So either the son of a man or the slave of another man, without witnesses or a contract. Okay, Like they're not of age to make decision for barter, is I guess what he's saying, which is great. Shall be put to death. It seems like they had pretty good population control here. If anyone steal cattle or sheep or an ass or a pig or a goat, if it belong to a god or to the court, the thief shall pay 30-fold therefor. If they belong to a freedman of the king, he shall pay 10-fold. If the thief has nothing with which to pay, he shall be put to death. I mean, it seems fair. It seems fair, to quote, Heath Ledger. 9. If anyone lose an article and find it in the possession of another, if the person in whose possession the thing is found say, a merchant sold it to me, I paid for it before witnesses, and if the owner of the thing says, I will bring witnesses who know my property, then shall the purchaser bring the merchant who sold it to him, and the witnesses before whom he brought it, and the owner shall bring witnesses who can identify his property. The judge shall examine their testimony, both of the witnesses before whom the price was paid, and of the witnesses who identify the lost article on oath. The merchant is then proved to be a thief, and shall be put to death. The owner of the lost article receives his property, and he who bought it receives the money he paid from the estate of the merchant. Okay. Awesome. 10. If the purchaser does not bring the merchant and the witnesses before whom... Oh, this is like 9b. If the purchaser does not bring the merchant and the witnesses before whom he bought the article, but its owner bring witnesses to identify it, then the buyer is the thief and shall be put to death, and the owner received the lost article. If the owner do not bring witnesses to identify the lost article, he is an evildoer. He has traduced and shall be put to death. Fair? I don't know. Can I print more pages? Oh god, it's still going. If the witnesses be not at hand, then shall the judge set a limit at the expiration of 6 months. If his witnesses have not appeared within the 6 months, he is an evildoer, and shall bear the fine of the pending case. If anyone steal the minor son of another, he shall be put to death. If anyone take a male or female slave of the court, or a male or like what defines being, so there's like the court or the church, or a freed man. If it's a court or the church, like we got to remember this. There's going to be a test. There'll be a test. It's 30-fold down to 10-fold, and then put to death. Where was I? Oh, yeah. If you take a slave. Oh, here's what it is. Okay, sorry. If anyone take a male or female slave out of the court, or a male or female slave of a freed man outside the city gates, he shall be put to death. If anyone receive into his house a runaway male or female slave of the court or of a freed man, and does not bring it out at the public proclamation of the major domus, whatever that is, the master of the house shall be put to death. 17. If anyone find runaway male or female slaves in the open country and bring them to their masters, the master of the slave shall pay him 2 shekels of silver. Excellent. If the slave will not give the name of the master, the finder shall bring him to the palace. A further investigation must follow, and the slave shall be returned to his master. If he holds the slave in his house, and they are caught there, he shall be put to death. If the slave that he caught ran away from him, then shall he swear to the owners of the slave, and he is free of all blame. If anyone break a hole into a house, break in to steal, he shall be put to death before that hole and be buried. Interesting, physicalizing it to the place of infraction. These are awesome. I'm a Hammurabian. Fuck you. Like, you can't charge me with anything anymore, please. If you bind me and you cannot prove it, you shall be put to death. If anyone is committing a robbery and is caught, then he shall be put to death. If the robber is not caught, then shall he who was robbed claim under oath the amount of his loss. Then shall the community, and on whose ground and territory, and in whose domain it was competent for him for the stolen goods. Okay, so that one had a break in it, but I guess basically, interesting. Then shall the community, this is, if the robber isn't caught, then shall he who was robbed claim under oath the amount of his loss. Then shall the community, on whose ground and territory and in whose domain it was, compensate him for the goods stolen. Okay, awesome. Like, how does that work? Are there taxes in this scenario? I feel like taxes are really recent, except they make them seem like we have to pay them. 25. 24, sorry. If persons are stolen, then shall the community pay 1 mina of silver to their relatives. Are stolen, wow. If fire break out in a house, and someone who comes to put it out cast his eye upon the property of the owner of the house, and take the property of the master of the house, he shall be thrown into that self-same motherfucking fire. Wow. If a chieftain or a man, or common soldier, who has been ordained to go upon the king's highway for war, does not go, but hires a mercenary, if he withholds the compensation, then shall this officer or man be put to death, and he who represented him take possession of his house. Wait, Kitty, shut up. Shush. We're reading. We're reading. You bother other people's cats. You know this. So then the lawyer gets the house. Interesting. If a chieftain or man be caught in the misfortune of the king, as in captured in battle, and if his fields and garden be given to another, and he take possession, if he return and reaches his place, his field and garden shall be returned to him. He shall take it over again. POWs, respect your veterans. Oh my God. This is awesome. Like, how did I turn 33 without, like, reading this? This is ridiculous. If a chieftain or a man be caught in the misfortune of a king, if his son is able to enter into possession, then the field and the garden shall be given to him. He shall take over the fee of his father. The fee? Whatever. 29. Okay, we're only going to 36, so 5 more. Call in 1-866-10-663. 29. If his son is still young and cannot take possession, a third of the field and garden shall be given to his mother, and she shall bring him up. If a chieftain or man leave his house, garden, and field and hires it out, and someone else takes possession of his house, garden, and field and uses it for 3 years, if the first owner return and claims his house, garden, and field, it shall not be given to him, but he who has taken possession of it and used it shall continue to use it. Interesting. If he hire it out for a year and then return, the house, garden, and field shall be given back to him, and he shall take it over again. So there's like a lease limit. Interesting. If a chieftain or a man is captured on the way of the king, quote unquote, and that means in war, and a merchant buy him free and bring him back to his place, if he have the means in his house to buy his freedom, he shall buy himself free. If he have nothing in his house with which to buy himself free, he shall be bought free by the temple of his community. If there be nothing in the temple with which to buy him free, the court shall buy his freedom. His field, garden, and house shall not be given for the purchase of his freedom. Awesome. Awesome. 33. Oh, this one's really broken. All right, let's see. If a, ... or a, ... well, those are nouns, those are helpful, enter himself as withdrawn from the way of the king, and send a mercenary as a substitute, but withdraw him, then the ... or ... shall be put to death. Huh. So there's like an elite class or something? Like this might be like if someone from the court sends it, he shall not be... Like someone, like a freed man can't send a mercenary. Wasn't that one of them? But maybe someone from the courts can send it, and his mercenary just has to go. Maybe that's what that is. Next, if a ... so they just don't know what these words are, or a ... So if any, again, Assyrian specialist, call the fuck in. I want to know what these fucking words are. From 33 and 34. Harm the property of a captain, injure the captain, or take away from the captain a gift presented to him by the king, then the ... or ... shall be put to death. If anyone buy the cattle or sheep which the king has given to chieftains from him, he loses his money. No more monopoly for you. The field, garden, and house of a chieftain, of a man, or of one subject to quit rent, cannot be sold. I have no idea what that one means. Awesome. Fucking awesome. I absolutely am enamored, and hope you are too, with the Code of Hammurabi. Yes, pomegranates. Yes. Yes, pomegranates. Why no pomegranates? I mean, no way. I'm not fucking way. I guess we can. Oh yeah, I should play this for you guys. So, Got a voicemail. It was not super happy, but you know, I receive all of your messages.
I don't even know if this is real, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of frightening and far from Jesus and closer to blasphemy than anything righteous.
Okay. Um, I also do not know if this is real or not. I feel like the world is such a fascinating, awesome place, and the power and capacity that us humans have, and these brains we've been given, and these like weird, awesome cultural codes and structures that that surround us and sometimes madden us, but are nevertheless awesome. I often have trouble believing that it's real, but yeah. Blasphemy, closer to blasphemy than righteousness. I don't know. That's in the eye of the perceiver, I think. I would challenge you, caller, to call back sometime when I'm on, and we can try to discuss that a little bit more. 1-866-10-6663. I don't think I'm not. I'm pretty sure I'm not frightening. Like, I know it's Halloween and all, but I wear this all the time. Like, I don't consider this my my Halloween costume. So caller, I hope this is real. I intend no fright, and I really don't have any stock or trade in the words blasphemy versus righteousness in terms of like how they impact me. I think those are like pretty, ridiculous buzzwords. I think the term buzzword comes from the idea that it sounds like bzz, like it's such a banal, overused word. It ends up not doing any service to the sentence in terms of explaining anything new or interesting. It's pretty awesome. If that's accurate, that's my definition for buzzword, and I think those are both they. Well, I will. I'm gonna throw a song on. This is you can have a cigarette break if you guys want to have a cigarette break, but I will probably end as soon as that song's done, unless somebody would like to call in to the show. As an influencer, increasing his fellowship, hopefully exponentially, and then also increasing the angry voicemails. But I can take it. I just, in some cases, I would be more excited for someone who dislikes me to find the opportunity to call into the show, because I'd like to work on that concept, because I see no reason why I have to be disliked by anybody at all. So. So this is "Love Me for Real" by the Rim Kwaku Aben something. I don't know. I can't get the full title, and I'm not too concerned, because you are not going to forget this song. You're going to remember the chorus. always, sorry, I don't have a fader. Always say people from the, from a saxophone solo. Let's make love. Let's make more love all around us. Let's remove it from its relationship to that stupid coital concept. Let's create love. Let's create love. Make and create are the same fucking word. So that's awesome. So, as promised, or as threatened, if nobody called in, we'll read Joel 1, all of Joel 1, within which pomegranates exist. No pomegranates. Yes, pomegranates. Yeah, why not? Why not pomegranates? And that awesome song we started with, The Holy Cave, we will let that lure us along. The word of the Lord that came to Joel, son of Pethuel. Hear this, O elders, give ear, all inhabitants to the land. Has such a thing happened in your days or in the days of your ancestors? Tell your children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. Wake up, you drunkards, and weep and wail, all you wine drinkers, over the sweet wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. For a nation that has invaded my land, powerful and innumerable, its teeth are lion's teeth, and it has the fangs of a lioness. It has laid waste my vines and splintered my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it down. Their branches have turned white. Lament like a virgin dressed in sackcloth for the husband of her youth. The grain offering and the drink offerings are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests mourn the ministers of the Lord. The fields are devastated, the ground mourns, for the grain is destroyed, the wine dries up, the oil fails. Be dismayed, you farmers, wail, you vine dressers, over the wheat and the barley, for the crops of the field are ruined. The vine withers, the fig tree droops, pomegranate, palm, and apple, all the trees of the field are dried up. Surely joy withers away among the people. Put on sackcloth and lament, you priests. Wail, you ministers of the altar. Come pass the night in sackcloth, you ministers of my God. Grain offerings and drink offerings are withheld from the house of your God. Sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land to the house of the Lord your God, and cry out to the Lord, alas for the day. Alas for the day. For the day of the Lord is near, and as destruction from the Almighty it comes. Is not the food cut off before our eyes, joy and gladness from the house of our God? The seed shrivels under the clods, the storehouses are desolate, the granaries are ruined because the grain has failed. How the animals groan, the herds of cattle wander about because there is no pasture for them. Even the flocks of sheep are dazed. To you, O Lord, I cry, for fire has devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and flames have burned all the trees of the field. Even the wild animals cry to you because the watercourses are dried up, and fire has devoured the pasture of the wilderness. Alas for the day. Alas for our day. Alas for today. Because we're not creating enough fucking love. I am not blasphemous. This is fucking relevant. This Bible is most relevant. But we can read it differently. We can read it a little bit more intelligently. What is God is a question we're allowed to ask. What are gods? Oh, I wanted to drop right there. Damn it. You can't always get what you want, right? Can't play that song. I bet you I will be blocked worldwide if I play that song. Alas for the day. We got like no time. We got no time to turn this fucking world ship around, guys. We got no time. No time. We have to quit our jobs and just like distribute money, distribute Bitcoin, whatever. We have to quit our jobs and we just all have to start fixing the earth. Like maybe your job will be to go to Plastic Island. I don't know. Do you want to go to, if you don't want to go to Plastic Island, maybe you don't have to, but like everyone needs to go somewhere. So anyways, that is my message for the day, is to create love and alas for the day and stay positive, but we all have to start working and living positively. Not blaspheme, but be righteous and make sure that you've thought deeply about what those two words mean. So, with that, I bid you adieu. You were right there. Okay. Good night. Good night, Antifa.